Hello everyone, back tuning in to today's video. So we're going to have a look at whether it's week to 10 days in today's video. It's going to take us well into July. We're going to go almost up to the middle part of the month. I think we're in for some very unsettled conditions as we get through to the weekend and into next week. We may have a few days this week though of slightly drier weather, so I've made the most of the weather coming up over this week, because it does look a bit grim actually as we get through into the weekend and on into next week. I'll show you the detail on that in a second. We've launched our charity fundraising appeal, so I'll talk you through all of that in a moment as well. But before I get on with all of that, just to say about the ads. There's these five on the page, have browse widgets, click through links, you'll be able to help us pay for the website. Thanks very much for doing that. So we've started the fundraiser at Gasworthy's. We are raising throughout July. We're going to be raising money for the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance. There's a personal story tied in with that, and you can find out all about this story, about why we're doing this, on the fundraising appeal page that we've got here at Gasworthy's. But this is our Just Giving page. The way you donate to this is to go to our Just Giving page via the link buttons that we've got here at the website. And when you get there, where you'll be greeted with this page, it says Gavin's page, and there's the Gasworthy's logo, so that you know that this is tied in with myself and Gasworthy's. And just simply donate by clicking the donate button. It's all completely secure. Every single last penny of the money that you donate will go through to the charity, thanks to Just Giving. And it's a fantastic way, an easy way of raising money for all of these wonderful charities. The Air Ambulance relies totally on charity donations. They don't get any money from the government or the National Health Service. They can only fly with your support. And one call out, I couldn't believe this. I was checking out the Air Ambulance website the other day. One call out costs £1,700. And they rely on donations for everything that they do. So if you've got some time to spare, go to our Just Giving page and give a little bit of money to the Air Ambulance. A big thank you to all of you for doing that. You can do it by text as well. You can text your donation to 770. In the subject box, you type in GWVS77. That's our code, and the amount that you would like to donate, say £1, £2, £5, whatever you can afford. And just text that to 770, and that's another very easy way of being able to donate to the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance. So a big thank you to all of you for doing that. Right, we'll get on with the update then, and we're going to start off Central England temperature from Hadley for July. We've actually had quite a cold start to July, or quite a cool start. We're below average and around a degree below average as well. So I'll just get the highlighter ready, and then I'll highlight this for you. So we're standing at 4.5, which is around a degree below average. That is provisional to be third. Of course, June's central temperature came in at the weekend, and that stands at 15.2, which is normally around 1 degree above average. So June was pretty warm, but July has started off a lot cooler. I think we will see that ticking up a bit over the next few days. So it's going to be a bit warmer this week, but then it may drop again as we get through into the weekend and then on into next week. These are 500 millibar height anomaly flow charts for next week to 10 days. We've got the ECMWF here on the top, and the GFS is on the bottom. 500 millibars, 80,000 feet, is an area in the atmosphere, high pressure, low pressure, being moved around by the jet stream running above. Blue extrapolates to low pressure, red, orange extrapolates to high pressure. That's it, it's going to take us up towards the middle part of July. And notice on the ECMWF, we've got northern blocking here. That's never a very good sign in the summer, but we've got these orange colours appearing right over top of the pole. And then correspondingly, what you tend to get when you have northern blocking is a trough sitting underneath it, and that trough, unfortunately, it's parked right over top of the UK. So the jet stream going to the south, it looks very cool, that, and really quite unsettled indeed. Let's have a look at the GFS, and that's very similar. Look, we've got the northern blocking there Again, the red and orange colours appearing over top the bowl, and that leaves us under this trough underneath the block. We've got the trough. The jet stream's going to the south of us as well, rather like that. So it does look pretty cool and pretty unsettled, that one. As I say, I think we get a few days of drier and warmer weather over the next 4 or 5 days. Make the most of it, because as we get into the weekend, on into next week, it looks really quite grim. If we have a look at the GFS temperature precipitation ensembles the next 2 weeks, the red line here is a 30-year temperature average. So we're a bit below average still, although it will be warmer by day compared to what we've had recently, because it's going to be more sunshine. So we'll be able to offset that a little bit. And then as we go through into the weekend and on to next week, we find the temperatures ticking up just a little bit, but it's associated with rainfall spikes, and then it looks like we go significantly below average again as we go through into next week. So overall, it's a pretty cool looking ensemble that, going up to around the middle part of the month. This is the 15th of July, just here. Not many precipitation spikes through the rest of this week, so we are going to be able to string out a few days of drier weather. Won't be completely dry for everyone, but it will be a bit drier over the next 3-4 days or so. Get through into weekend and on into next week, those rainfall spikes are coming back. Temperature anomaly looks quite cool. This is from the 4th through to 12th of July, generally coming out a bit below average. Most of Europe looking quite cool as well. This could be shaping up to be quite a coolish July. The precipitation anomaly generally looks a bit wetter than average in the northern part of the country and a bit drier than average in the south. But I think when we average it all out, what we're going to find is that the next few days should be reasonably dry. A fair amount of dry weather, although there is quite a bit of rain coming up today, should just say across northern England. But once that's out of the way, don't think there's going to be too much through the course of the working week. But over weekend into next week, it turns more unsettled. So this is a generic chart from the GFS model for Friday, and you see in this westerly flow. Then keep an eye on this area of low pressure in the central Atlantic. That looks quite a vigorous one for the time of year. It's around 985 millibars, and usually deep area of low pressure. That rattles into the country over the weekend. Looks like it will bring unsettled conditions. We've got big events taking place that weekend, of course. It's British Grand Prix at Silverstone. It's also the Wimbledon finals on Saturday and sunny. It's not so bad for Wimbledon, of course, because it's got the roof now on the main court, so they can cover up. But this could be a bit impactful for the Grand Prix at Silverstone. It looks unsettled over weekend anyway, with showers or longer spells of rain. Quite tight spells as well, so fairly windy. We go for the start of next week, looking very unsettled with low pressure very close to the country. Winds are going into the north and the northwest, so that looks quite cool. And then we go through beyond that, and we get another one of these areas of low pressure developing in the central Atlantic. Again, an unusually deep area of low pressure. And look what the GFS does with that through the middle part of next week. Now, this is some way off, so it's not necessarily anything to be overly alarmed about, but this is a very, very deep Atlantic storm for the 13th of July. This is central pressure around 990 millibars rattling into the country. That's bringing gale force winds and lots of heavy rain as well, and that sort of parks itself over top of the country by day 10, which is Thursday the 14th of July. Now, I say this could be going a bit over the top, so don't necessarily be all that alarmed yet if you've got any plans for next week. But keep an eye on it, because that is a very intense area of low pressure for the time of year. It's more like sort of thing you'd expect to see in the middle of October than the middle of July. Eastern Earth is very similar. The westerlies are coming back in on Friday. But we do get a bit of a ridge in the south on Saturday. That looks quite nice for southern parts, although it weakens off on Sunday. So if low pressure starts to move in off the Atlantic. And then we go through into next week. It turns increasingly unsettled with low pressure developing out to the west of us. And we just finish up with a trough part to the top of the country. Now, this isn't as deep or as intense as the GFS, so this is probably a little bit more settled. We have got a little bit more sensible, if you like. We have got a trough centred over the country during the middle part of next week, but it isn't that sort of big storm that the GFS is whipping up. That's probably more like what you'd expect to see in July. Would still be very unsettled. It'd bring a lot of rain and heavy showers, but it wouldn't be quite as wet, windy, and actually quite stormy as the GFS is indicated. The overall message from all of this is to make the most of the next few days. Up to around Friday, we're going to have a fair amount of dry weather. Looks like you're going to turn increasingly unsettled over the weekend, starting in the north and west, and then spreading south and east, and then next week could be very unsettled indeed. Right, that's all for now. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, if you've got time, to make a donation to our fundraising appeal. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.